I'm in my mid-40s, and only now I truly understand what it means to live beside someone for 15 years and still not know who they really are. I won't raise my voice. I won't turn this into drama, and I'm not here for sympathy. This is just the story. The truth. The version I stayed quiet about for too long. I can't say our marriage was perfect. Whose is? But it was stable, predictable, comfortable in that quiet, grown-up way. Work was fine, bills were paid, arguments were rare. We knew each other's flaws, and we lived with them. If you had asked me then, I would have said we had what most long relationships become. A peaceful routine. No fireworks, but no storms either. 5 years of dating, 15 years of marriage, 20 years of believing I built something solid. Funny how confidence can age into blindness. What I know now is simple. More relationships die in silence than in conflict. Nothing exploded overnight. It never does. It started with small things. More late nights at the office. More urgent calls. More evenings when she said she was tired. I didn't suspect anything. I honestly thought she was overwhelmed with work, stress, deadlines, new projects, life. Looking back, I realize how naive I was, how willing I was to believe the most comfortable explanation. People don't hurt you only when they lie. Sometimes they hurt you by letting you believe the lie you tell yourself. I knew about him, at least his name. She mentioned him sometimes. A joke he made. A project they worked on. A random story from the office. Nothing alarming, just harmless workplace chatter. He had a reputation for being fun. One of those people who gets along with everyone. Talkative. Charming in a subtle way. I'm not that type, but I never thought it mattered. Back then, I believed I knew my wife, her values, her boundaries, her loyalty. It turns out I knew her the way you know a movie trailer. Enough to think you get the story, but not enough to understand what's missing. I had never checked her phone, not once in 20 years. I didn't have a reason to. I didn't have suspicions. But that day, her phone buzzed while she was in the shower. A message appeared on the screen. "Did you get home safe? I miss you." I froze. My stomach dropped. And I opened it. Not out of anger, more like a quiet instinct. The same instinct that makes you look at a car crash, even though you know you shouldn't. What I found was 2 years of messages, 2 years of affection, 2 years of inside jokes, 2 years of hotel rooms, 2 years of planning, 2 years of a relationship I had no idea existed. A double life, running parallel to mine. The more I scrolled, the more obvious it became. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This wasn't an emotional crisis. This wasn't something that just happened. It was intentional, organized, almost domestic in its routine. Every message felt like a small death. But the real punch was the tone. How normal they were with each other. How comfortable. How familiar. Like I was the old chapter, and he was the present tense. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I didn't fall apart. I just waited for her in the living room, phone in my hand. When she came out of the shower, I placed it on the table. Screenshots open. No introduction. She understood instantly, and she said 2 sentences I will never forget. "I didn't want you to find out like this. I wasn't happy anymore." 2 sentences that carry a certain kind of cruelty, the quiet kind, the practiced kind. She didn't cry, she didn't panic, she didn't beg. She stood there in her bathrobe, hair dripping water on the floor, and explained her affair like a meeting summary. She said it started by accident, then another accident, then familiarity, then dependence. She said she planned to end it, but couldn't and didn't really want to. She ended with, "I still love you, in my own way." It's strange how the human mind works. I should have walked out, but I stayed, listening like a man dissecting his own humiliation. People say the pain hits immediately. They're wrong. The real pain is slow. It creeps in later, in the silence, in the empty rooms, in the memories that suddenly change shape. It hits when you start remembering small things. Days she seemed distant, moments she was distracted, trips she said were for work. It hits when you realize you weren't stupid, you were trusting, and trust feels like a fool's costume once it breaks. She said the affair was already over, that she ended it months ago, that she regretted it. But let's be honest, nothing that lasts 2 years is a mistake, it's a lifestyle. And when someone keeps 2 lives running at the same time, the betrayal isn't just physical, it's architectural, built intentionally, protected carefully. And what hurts most is understanding she didn't slip away from me. She drifted away quietly, strategically, long before I saw anything. This isn't about revenge or bitterness. It's about clarity, the kind that comes late but stays. People don't talk enough about this. You can share a home, a bed, a life, and still be a stranger to the person beside you. You can laugh together, plan vacations, raise children, sign documents, and still miss half their life. Infidelity today doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't come with perfume on collars, or lipstick stains, or secret letters. It's quiet, digital, convenient. A parallel love story running in the background, smooth and invisible. People think cheating is about passion. Most of the time, it's about escape, about validation, about boredom, about someone choosing a second life because they no longer fear losing the first. I learned a few things through all this. 1. People don't leave because they stop loving you. They leave when letting go no longer scares them. 2. You can't control anyone's loyalty. You can only pay attention to the changes and have the courage to see them. 3. Not everyone makes mistakes. Some people make decisions, repeatedly, calmly, without guilt. 4. You can survive the truth. What destroys you is the time you lived without it. 5. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from the moment you accept that the past won't change, no matter how much you replay it. We tried to stay together for a while. Counseling, long talks, promises that felt thin. But something was gone. Not trust. Trust dies fast. What was gone was the version of her I believed in. And once that version died, the marriage followed. We divorced quietly. No drama, no shouting. Just 2 people sitting across a table signing the end of a story they both outgrew. Sometimes I think about those 2 years. Not with pain, but with realism. You don't always get the partner you think you know. Sometimes you only get the version they show you, until someone else brings out the truth. If you're listening to this, let me leave you with one thought. Pay attention. Not to the big things, to the small ones. They always reveal the truth first. And if you ever find yourself living beside someone who feels a little too far away, a little too quiet, a little too absent, don't ignore it. Distance doesn't happen overnight. It grows in messages you don't see, in hours you don't question, in versions of them you never get to meet. 2 years I didn't know who was sleeping beside me, but now I do. And that truth, as painful as it was, saved me.